Hi. You're not even the one drinking.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I live in Seattle and I take my two dogs, Ember and Ash, on weekly adventures in the mountains. I hike, camp, and road trip only to places where I can bring my two favorite travel buddies. This week I did my first snowshoe of 2021 up to Artist Point to watch the sunset over Mount Baker and the Cascades. Hi, welcome back. I finally did it. I did my first snowshoe of the season and of this year. I've been wanting to do Artist Point for ages, and the conditions were just right to finally take the leap. I did have several backup hikes planned, mainly because it's a 3-hour drive to get up there, and I didn't want it to be a total wash should there be any reason that I couldn't go forward with doing this. One interesting thing about the Mount Baker area, other than it being my favorite place ever, is that it actually gets the most snow out of all of North America. Let that sink in, because I didn't believe it at first, since Canada's right there, but it's true. While it's gorgeous to see the mountains covered in snow, it can also be super dangerous. The snow piles up so much that avalanches can be triggered pretty easily in certain conditions. Because Artist Point does have some avalanche danger, I've been waiting all season to really get a nice window when there would be a low enough risk and also a nice enough conditions where I could actually enjoy the views. Fortunately, my patience paid off because it was totally sunny, the snow was super easy to traverse on, and I had the most incredible sunset. And now I'm back home where I'm totally safe and able to share all my footage with you. So here you go. Enjoy. As I started going up the winding roads up to Artist Point, the more snow I started seeing piling up, and the more my excitement grew. I've been nervous about doing this trail, but all of those nerves went away as soon as I started seeing the snow-capped mountains. As soon as I popped the trunk, the dogs were already stoked to get out and explore. This was my first time doing this trail as a snowshoe, so it took me a moment to find where to start. Basically, head towards the bathrooms and you can start going up to the right of the ski run. But whatever you do, don't be the person that walks up the actual ski run. It's groomed for skiing and snowboarding, and it can be super difficult for people coming down to dodge you. You can walk along the side though where the rope is, and that's just as easy to do. One thing with snowshoeing is that you don't necessarily have a trail, so you're kind of free to roam and explore, which people totally take advantage of. It can be great, but also confusing if you're following tracks and are intending on following the quote-unquote main trail. So in snowy conditions, I make sure to still have a map. All Trails is a pretty straightforward and easy option, and is the one that I prefer. The way up to Artist Point isn't too long distance-wise. It does require going up some steep terrain, but it's short enough and gorgeous enough to totally be worth it. Also, it was really cool seeing all the skiers and snowboarders zipping around. I haven't tried skiing or snowboarding myself yet, but I'm making it a goal to get skiing lessons in the next couple of winters. I just feel really bad leaving the pups out of any of my adventures. The whole way up is non-stop views, where every few hundred feet up somehow becomes even more stunning. There is one big push up a steep slope, and then shortly after, Mount Baker, the North Cascades, and all of the other surrounding mountains become visible. There is nothing else like this view, and it's the reason why Mount Baker area will always be one of my all-time favorites. Technically, this is Artist Point. We made it. The most fascinating part of this trip was seeing the lines that had formed in the snow. It was so visually interesting, and I could not stop admiring it. Depending on how ambitious you're feeling, you could continue to trek up to Huntoon Point. I was wanting to go all the way up, but I noticed everyone else was stopping here. And being by myself, I did not want to take the risk of something happening and having no one around to see it. So I ventured a little further ahead and set up a nice spot to just sit and enjoy a rainier. It was a great way to take in the ever-changing colors of the sky as the sun started to set. When somewhere is this gorgeous, I don't even notice the cold, the wind, or whatever else. I know it was sunny, but I couldn't tell you anything else because I was just so overcome by the views that nothing else really mattered. I started to head back down just as the sunset colors peaked at the most dramatic. I was planning on getting to my car before dark, but it was just so stunning. I couldn't help but to not stop nearly every minute to take a bunch of videos and photos, and really just to take it all in for as long as I possibly could. I regret nothing. Hiking back down in the dark wasn't so bad. Fortunately, the parking lot is very well lit. I had a map and I had a light. Once I got back down to the parking lot, I took off my gear, packed up the car, warmed up a bit, and drove the nearly 3 hours back home. I've been up to Artist Point a couple of times already, but both times were at the end of summer, which is totally different from going in winter. I couldn't recognize anything basically the whole time. The one instance where I recognized where I was only because of a building that is at one of the parking areas. It was basically like halfway covered in snow, like I was just able to see it. One cool thing about the spot is that you can also backpack. and camp there. I have a pretty good amount of winter camping gear, but I think I need a little bit more before I'm totally prepared for doing that. But once I am prepared, I am totally going to add Artist Point to the top of my list. Next week, I'm going to share something very special. I did a road trip down to Joshua Tree, California, and spent a week there. And then I drove up the California coast on Highway 1 to get back up to Washington. Next week's video will be an overview of the trip, and then I'll be breaking it down into different parts. So look forward to that. And until then, you can like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you next week. Bye!